Hello, everyone, and welcome to the RV Connects podcast. This is episode 56. We have a very, very short impromptu episode today because we have listener mail. So it is March 29th, 2025, and we received a lovely little bit of mail a day or two ago, and we are responding to it on the podcast. We are probably going to put it up on our socials as well. And we felt it was probably a good topic to kind of break out into its own episode as opposed to like lumping it into our next regularly scheduled episode. But the reason we are responding through all of these channels is actually because we can't respond to the people who sent us the mail. And we discovered recently through one of the most recent updates of our podcast hosting platform that we could turn on this function that would allow people to send listener mail. And it's a little link at the top of every bit of show notes that says text the show. And so we got this lovely message. And when I went to reply, I realized that it's a one-way communication. We actually cannot reply to it. So I would say for now, we're probably going to turn that feature off. But if you would like to send us listener mail, we love it. Please do. You can message us on TikTok. You can message us on Instagram. And you can send us an email anytime. hello@rvcanucks.com. That's RVCANUCKS.com. And we can reply directly to you as well as, throwing it on the show. So with all of that being said, I think, I will read the listener mail and then maybe we'll talk about it. So our lovely listeners in Fort Collins, Colorado wrote, and they asked, do you think that American campers would be welcome in Canada this year, or would we be asking for ill will? We are appalled at what is happening in our country, but maybe we should stay within the U.S. So I think this is a super, super important topic, and it's one that so many people have been talking about. I'm seeing it happen every day online, whether it's on, RV forums that we're on or Disney forums that we're on of like what to do. Do you keep your plans? Do you cancel them? And I think, we talk about this a lot. And listen, like Dan and I and the girls just got back from America last weekend. So we chose not to cancel our plans. We went ahead anyway. We had zero problems. Everybody was really lovely as normal. And I think, when it comes to the RV community, I would say two things. Number one, I would say, it is a true community, right? If you are generally camping or you are interacting with other RVers, no matter where we are in North America or, across the world, we're still a big community. And I think that kind of really shines through. And the other thing that I would say is, there's probably nothing better than coming up to our country and saying, hey, we've decided to come visit and see your beautiful country and support you economically. And I think that's a fantastic thing, right? And I don't think anybody would necessarily have a problem with that. Is there 0.01% of the world that are just grumpy because they're grumpy? Sure. And we could run into those on any trip. But I would say, ultimately, we've had this conversation a lot, but I would say, don't let it dissuade you. We love the American people. We love our own people. I think, our quarrel economically isn't with the people. It's with, the systems and whatever trade war is going on right now.
Yeah, the governments are quarreling. There's some disagreements between the governments, but I think everybody in Canada would welcome your visit. We're friendly. You're friendly. Come on up, whether you're from Colorado or anywhere else. Big shout out to the people of Colorado. You're welcome to come, but we can distinguish between a quarrel between our governments and just being like good neighbors. You guys are hardworking. We're hardworking. We're about to head into tourist season here in Canada, probably the middle of May, depending on where we are in the country. So come on up, come for a visit, I think is the message that we're trying to say.
Yeah,
right?
For sure. And to aid in that, we thought we'd probably maybe remind people about some tips that we've talked about in the past about, how to make that transition from America into Canada successful from a travel perspective?
Yeah, so we're not going to go in depth on this episode. We'll refer you back to episode 31 if you want to get into things. I think what we're going to do is give you a couple of things just to put in the back of your mind and maybe put on that mental checklist of, hey, we should do a little bit more research into this or a little bit more research into that. Just enough to get your brain juices flowing. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? So just to maybe set the stage with a real easy one, we don't have states in Canada, we have provinces. So this is actually the province of Ontario. It's pretty big. We love it. But we don't have state parks, we have provincial parks. But that's the comparison of a state park to a provincial park would be
pretty standard.
Would be very similar. So if you're a state park camper, you're probably going to want to look for a provincial park here. We don't have BLM land, we have Crown land. So Crown land is federal government land. There are some regulations about where and how you can camp on it. If it's something you want to do, there are better resources that are up to date on YouTube. We would encourage you to get on there and do your research that way, but it can be done. You're going to need a passport. So if you don't have a passport, you'll have to do whatever it takes to get a passport in the U.S. You'll need a passport to get into Canada. You'll need it to get back into the U.S. So, and it's not a big deal to cross the border. So there are a couple of tips we would suggest. If you have a gun, it can be done. You can go from the lower 48 to Alaska, for example, and you can bring your gun through Canada. It's a bit of a hassle. So unless you really had a reason, like you're going hunting or something, that's like a whole thing you're going to have to research separately. You don't need it just for an RVing trip, so just save yourself the trouble and leave it at home, because that's one of the things the border agents coming into Canada, they're going to ask you about. And if they find one or you answer yes to that question, you're going to spend a lot of time at the booth. So just leave it at home. You'll save yourself a big hassle. Like everything else, we've said this many times, leave the fridge empty. Don't put anything in there. Yes, you can bring some stuff over, but our advice to people, and we do this going into the US and so on, just come into the country with an empty fridge, because then you don't have to get into a conversation about like fruits and vegetables and agriculture safety and all those kind of things, like common sense kind of stuff, right? The good news is that the US dollar is really strong on the exchange rate. Like, what did you say, like 40%?
It's like 43, 45.
Right. So what that means is a dollar Canadian, what that means is that your dollar is worth $1.40 Canadian, right?
On average, yeah.
On average, like we're kind of spitballing. Of course, it's probably going to change as things go up and down, but you get the idea. So what that actually means is groceries here, in our opinion, dollar for dollar are cheaper. Like, $7 for butter in Canada, and it's $7 for Kerrygold butter in Buffalo. Because your dollar is stronger, it's actually cheaper to come by those kind of groceries in Canada. Because the exchange rate is working in your favor when you come here. And people are really like booking up. If you look at the news reports, like I know they're pretty busy in Nova Scotia with American visitors. Like people are coming. So like don't delay making your plans. You don't need to fill up your tanks with fresh water. Like we have a bucket load of water here. And the reason I bring that up, and it maybe it's intuitive to everybody else, there's an actual podcast out there where somebody was traveling to Canada and they weren't sure if they could fill up
with water
in Canada. So most provincial parks that have like car camping are going to have a spot where you can bring in your trailer and fill up your fresh water and drink that water. They're going to have a dumping station. Our RV parks are like your RV parks. Campgrounds are like your campgrounds. So obviously when you go into a place, you're going to want to research their exact facilities. But like,
I would say in general, though, if it's not a full hookup site, there will be a separate area for you to go fill up your fresh water. Like that is the standard here. And I compare that to when we went to Letchworth State Park in New York State, and there was no water fill up. We just had to stop on the road and fill up from a spigot that was just, at the side of the road near one of the campgrounds. Or campsites.
There will be a distinct spot where you'll pull your trailer over off to the side and people will fill up.
Yeah.
And the same with the dump station. So I think you don't need to fill up your tanks with water for worrying that we don't have water here at the campgrounds. And then
good and fresh.
It's good and fresh. And they have pretty rigorous testing standards. And then the last thing I think I'll say is you're going to find that gas here is a little bit more expensive. We sell gas by the liter. We don't sell it by the gallon. Rough math, and very rough math, says there's about 4 liters in a gallon, and that's a very rough conversion as you're driving down the road when you're kind of figuring this out. So times the price of gas by 4, you get an idea of what it is a price per gallon. There's a lot of complicated math. Long story short, as it's probably a little bit more expensive. Your dollar is a lot stronger, and so you have more purchasing power when you come to Canada. And as Melina says, like if you're worried about like your gas mileage, then RVing's not worth for you.
Yeah.
So just kind of giving you that so you don't have sticker shock when you get here. But other than that, like it's pretty straightforward. It's kilometers per hour, not miles per hour, but your vehicle will have a little button where you can kind of flick back and forth, and it's pretty straightforward. Our speed limits are pretty close to yours. It's gonna, the touch and feel and look is gonna be different, other than like say the little things of why we travel to other parts of North America.
Yeah,
right?
For sure. I think that's easy.
I think it's easy.
Maybe, I mean, don't call us the 51st state, and maybe don't call our prime minister or governor, and you'll be okay. But I don't think anybody in this community would be, having those types of conversations anyway.
Yeah, come up for a visit. Like, you can drive down our highways and you can see American license plates. Mm-hmm. It's not really a thing in the news. Like, I mean, it's the news of the government's not of disagreeing over tariffs and stuff is there, but there's not a thing of like people were turned away somewhere. That's not in the news.
Yeah,
right?
Not largely, no.
Yeah, so
come on up. We'd love to see you.
We'd love to see you.
And tell us when you're going to be here. We'll come say hello.
And I'm so sorry to the people in Fort Collins, Colorado, that we didn't didn't see your message and respond to it sooner. Like, I love Colorado too. Like, I remember that drive we did through Colorado for about a day. It was amazing. Like, Colorado's awesome. So come on up. We'd love to see you.
Yep. All right. So look forward in the very next couple of days. Our next episode will be out, but we wanted to kind of shoehorn this in there before we get that ready. And the next one, if anybody wants to explore Ontario parks, is going to be one of our Battle of episodes, where we are going to battle between the Pinery Provincial Park and Sauble Falls Provincial Park. So stay tuned for that.
This area right here along Lake Huron.
If you're looking us on video. Not everybody watches this.
We didn't even stage this, but if you're looking on YouTube, it's this shore of Lake Huron that's right near Michigan. So it's a really beautiful area. So tune in for that and give a quick download to episode 31, and that'll kind of get into the meat of stuff.
All right.
So thank you and safe travels.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.